Being held in a psych ward comes with an almost total loss of freedom. In many cases, you cannot leave the locked hospital unit until a psychiatrist says you can.
Time and time again during my time being a technician in the psych ward, anytime we brought a patient in, they were always surprised at how much rights they lose as soon as they walk through the doors of the psych ward. That's right, I said rights. You can be kept in the psych ward against your will, and they can take up to 72 hours to release you after you wish to terminate treatment. Lots of times this can cause work issues. If you have pets, who will be able to take care of them? So today we're going to look at a case in Michigan where just that happened to a young lady. And I want to invite you guys to talk about what we can do so that we can make an improvement to our system. Because best believe, if it wasn't for this being the motivation, a lot of this stuff wouldn't be taking place in the first place. And you'll see just what I'm talking about. So without further ado, make sure you like this video right now. Make sure you subscribe and comment your favorite color in the comment section so I can know that you're here. Welcome back to Jay's Psych Ward Stories.
We are living in a psych ward. I'm quite sure this is psych ward. I'm quite sure.
Welcome back to Jay's Psych Ward Stories. Video number 4, y'all. We are rocking and rolling here on YouTube. I just want to thank y'all so much, those of you that came over from TikTok, and shout out to any new people that might be here from the YouTube algorithm. I don't know if we've populated enough yet to be recommended. I'm not sure, but y'all have been going crazy. I am very thankful for the views that we've gotten so far. We've doubled our subscribers from the last video, actually more than double. At the time of this recording, we're at like 44 subscribers. So thank y'all so much. Obviously, we want to get to 1,000 and beyond so we can monetize and do great things. But I'm enjoying the process and loving the day by day and just working hard on these videos for you guys. Let's get into the video for today.
And now another local patient has come forward to share her story of how she says she was held against her will.
Good job, bud.
Sarah Guarino cherishes her freedom and her life after being locked in a psychiatric hospital in March.
I felt kidnapped.
The 31-year-old from Royal Oak says she suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder and insomnia. Sarah says a breakup, nearly losing her job, and intense fear she would be homeless led her to consider committing suicide in March.
I was having what I would call a panic attack. I didn't sleep for a couple days.
Recognizing she needed help, early in the morning of March 13th, Sarah called 911. Royal Oak police took her to a crisis intake center where she met with mental health professionals. Once she finally got some sleep there, Sarah says she felt better.
I kept asking, how long am I going to be held? They said maybe 2 or 3 days. And I said, that's too long. I don't know if anybody's at home with my dog. I need to go back home.
But Sarah says she was then transferred to Stonecrest Center Psychiatric Hospital in Detroit.
I was called out of the room where I was sleeping and told to get into a stretcher. I'm agitated, I'm confused, I'm asking questions like, what the hell is going on? And I basically got told, you can stop asking questions and calm down, or you can get doped up and made to calm down.
How many of you actually knew this is how it goes? A psychiatrist is the person that holds the key to your discharge. Even if you present completely well, your diagnostics check out, you're not reporting suicidal or having the same type of symptoms when you came in. Obviously, the professionals have to do their job and do their own assessments, but it's just something very, very fishy about the psychiatrist having the only say regarding your release. Like, this is the state of many people in our country and our state around you, right? Like, we live in uncertain times, a lot of people. Groceries, different costs of living being at a high. These do lead to mental health issues. I add that to a breakup and the reality that these bills still got to get paid whether you feel up to it or not. It can send you into a crisis where you're not emotionally ready to take on life's day-to-day challenges. And immediately my brain goes to, how can we help her? But also, how does the mental health system take advantage of vulnerable people like this? Let's keep watching.
Why do you think they kept her so long?
I think there was an issue of they were able to bill insurance for it.
Patients don't need to be in there that long if there can be another plan of care found for them outside of a psychiatric hospital.
So boom, there's the motive right there. The money is the motive. The longer a patient is able to stay in the psych ward, you bill their insurance company accordingly. So the thing is, if you have bad insurance, the doctors, you'll see the trend. They'll try to get you out of there as soon as possible or not admit you in the first place. We're supposed to be putting mental health first and people's well-being first, but that's not what comes first when these doctors are incentivized to keep patients longer. And their whole thing is, well, if I keep them longer, I'm really just ensuring their care in the first place, because nothing suicidal or wrong could happen in a place that's built to sustain people and to help people, right?
Sarah says she only met with Dr. Kier for a few minutes on a telehealth call at the beginning of her stay at Stonecrest.
And it wasn't even a full interview. It was just him, "Are you depressed? No, I'd like to go home. Do you have suicidal ideations? No, I got some sleep and I'm fine now. Okay, cool, thank you."
But Sarah says she was not allowed to go home. According to her records, Stonecrest planned to keep her for more than 3 weeks.
There we go once again. And this is, again, another common experience. These psychiatrists do these drive-by interviews with patients that don't last long, and they are giving them ultimatums about what's going to happen to them. Imagine having 2-3 minutes with the doctor where you're telling your issues, and then they make that judgment in that short amount of time. That doesn't really feel like patient care or prioritization to me. Let me know what y'all think in the comments.
Sarah was in a panic to get out. Her dog Enzo was home alone without food or water. She says her regular psychologist even asked Dr. Kier to release Sarah to his care, but was ignored.
It's unprofessional. It's disrespectful.
Even though Sarah says she signed into Stonecrest voluntarily, she says she was not allowed to leave.
I brought it up with the doctor every day. Am I being discharged?
Sarah also says she asked for a lawyer but wasn't given one. Disability rights Michigan lawyer Simon Zagata says if you're a voluntary patient and you ask for an intent to terminate mental health treatment form, the facility has to release you.
They could let you go that hour, but at the very least, within 72 hours, they either have to let you go or start that court process.
And I will say, guys, in my experience working, these hospitals, these mental health institutions will wait up to the very hour to release you, because they want to be able to bill your insurance company for as many days as possible. So if it's talking about 72 hours until you're terminated, until your treatment's terminated, they usually take all that time. And they threaten patients. Listen, I was given this whole spiel as a technician on how I'm supposed to get patients in the hospital. I can have them sign in voluntarily or involuntarily. And I tell them, if you say you're involuntarily signing in, basically the hospital can take your case and move you to court, where they can set a court date for 2 weeks in the future. And if you are involuntarily signing in, you have to wait, if they set a court date, until you go see the judge, to which they can give you an insurmountable amount of time in the ward, up to 30, 60 days inpatient treatment. And usually that scares patients to where they will sign in voluntarily. All you need to do is ask for your intent to terminate treatment, and they have 72 hours to terminate your treatment or to give you a court date. And that's the risk you do run, because sometimes in certain cases, they need to go and get the opinion of a judge in order for them to determine if your treatment is necessary or if it needs to be taken for longer. So you do run that risk when you decide to terminate your treatment. However, I always tell patients to just make sure that, hey, attend some groups, make sure you're up on the unit, and make sure you're doing things that show that you're coping, so that if they do try to put you before a judge, you literally have all these things going for you. But most of the time it's easier on your mind and in real life to actually go about serving your time in there. And I say serving, and it sounds like prison. A lot of people feel like it's that way when you're not getting the help you need or the freedom you deserve. But if you serve your time in there, usually it takes 3 to 7 days, and then you're able to get out and you don't have to worry about any of those looming fears of going to court or what that could be. And 9 times out of 10 you don't anyway, but in some cases you do. But they'll use that as a tactic to try to keep you on the unit. Why? So they can funnel in more of those dollars. And when you think about even staying 3 to 7 days, that's an eternity. When you think about having a pet at home, or maybe not any people that could go take care of your dog or take care of any of your affairs on your behalf. So those are things to keep in mind. And that is why this system is fundamentally flawed. And it has me thinking, what if something does happen to somebody's pets? Do they have room to pursue legal action? I wonder.
On Sarah's 5th day here at Stonecrest, she called me. She'd been told about my first story on Dr. Kier and the mental health system. And after that phone call, suddenly Sarah was cleared for discharge.
The moment they knew that I was talking to you, suddenly I was well enough to go home.
You were no longer suicidal?
Yeah, which I'd been telling them since I got there. But I was given all sorts of credibility the moment they knew I was talking to you. Suddenly this threat of investigation Made them go, oh, no, 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 no. She's not sick. She's not sick. She can go home.
Now she says she's furious her insurance was billed more than $16,000 for 6 days of inpatient treatment she did not want.
So did you see those insurance numbers? That's how much money they were able to bill for the hospital stay in 6 days. That's a lot of time, and she probably left more scarred than when she went in the first place. If she would have known that she was going to go through all of this, perhaps she would have picked up the phone and called somebody, went to go stay with family, or saw other resources. And I don't want to discourage anybody away from the psych ward, but I do want you guys to be able to use these stories to figure out what notes you can take, so that if you do have these types of emergencies, you know what buttons you can press, you know what processes you can go through, and you know how you need to be the one that is championing your care and being the initiator of certain actions. Otherwise, they will let you sit like a tea bag in water and soak up all of the things they can get out of you and all the days they can get from your insurance. Like, you might go to sleep for a week and then wake up and say, hey, like, I'm trying to figure out when I'm getting out of here. Oh, okay, let's start looking at you for the first time, right? They'll do these things in order to prioritize billing your insurance company, which shows that they're not actually putting the patient first. I'm not against capitalism in and of itself. In many areas, it works to have competition and whatnot. But when you're competing in a way where you have a patient's care and a doctor's pockets, these two should not correlate or be on the same playing field whatsoever.
I no longer trust medical professionals to have my well-being at heart.
How badly do you want the system to change?
Very badly. It needs to. This is a complete misfire. I understand that there's laws in place that were enacted to initiate greater protections for people, but the way that it's being used by healthcare professionals is abusive.
Let me know your thoughts about this video below. Would this discourage you to go to a psych ward in general? What are some things you guys learned from this video that you would take with you before you actually were to go into the psych ward? But let's add to that in the comment section and share your thoughts. Hope y'all learned something today. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like this video if you haven't. Make sure you subscribe. Please drop some comments below so we can get recommended more in the algorithm. And I'll see you on the next video.